So as I'm sure most of you have heard, the Game has been teasing some of the tracks on his upcoming album, Born to Rap. And in some of the songs, he's taken aim at Kim Kardashian, who is obviously the wife of the Game's supposed good friend, Kanye West. And he's also taken aim at Joe Budden and his fiancée, Cyn Santana. And to me, it seems like a clear attempt to promote his album. You know, I'm a huge Game fan. Anyone that knows me knows I'm a huge Game fan. Got the Game magazine there. I've got, you know, all of his albums. Yeah, just a huge Game fan through and through. But that being said, that doesn't mean that I can't see through his bullshit. And so I was thinking about it, and I was looking back at his past projects, and I noticed that there was a pattern. He actually has basically dissed someone right before the release of all of his projects. Now, I think at the beginning of his career, it was more of organic beef that was occurring. I don't think he was intentionally doing it to promote his albums. But I think later on, throughout his career, you know, maybe he thought, okay, that worked for me in the past, so maybe I should do that again. And it seems like he kind of went out of his way to diss people in order to promote his future projects. So I'm going to go through every single one of his you know, main projects that he's released since the documentary all the way until now, Born to Rap, and I'll talk about who he dissed. So when the Game was first signed, he was with Dr. Dre and 50 Cent and G-Unit, obviously, and so he inherited a lot of the beef that 50 Cent had, and so he started dissing people, you know, before his album was even released. Like, he got into beef with Memphis Bleak, he got into beef with Ja Rule, he got into beef with Joe Budden, actually, and so the very first track that was released before How We Do or Hate It or Love It, it was West Side Story. It was the first single that was released for the documentary, and he has a line on there that says, "I don't do button-up shirts or drive Maybachs." And a lot of people thought that this was a diss at Jay-Z. The Game later clarified that it was in fact about Ja Rule, not Jay-Z.
You know what, speaking of Jay, that just makes me roll down. Now in your song, West Side Story, you got a line that said, "Don't wear throwbacks or drive, ride, and Maybach." Is that a shot at Jay?
Nah, I was talking about Ja Rule. Yeah, so, I mean, I got a lot of respect for Jay, you know what I'm saying? I never take shots at legends. That's just something I don't do.
But Jay-Z still took it as a diss, and he actually responded to the Game on a freestyle on Hot 97.
You plan to bang, I'm planning to bang too. You playing the games, I'm seeing the thing through. You saying my name to entertain your crew. I ain't playing no games, shot exchange through. Fresh off probation, I got a charge to throw away. My lawyer say for 80 larger to go away. Now ain't no money to Jay, so you could get it broad day on Broadway while TRL taping. You playing the game, you know you ain't gonna win. Quit playing them childish games with grown men. I don't give a fuck about cars or chrome rims. I got apartments you can put your home in. Can I live? Can I keep it going?
So even though the Game wasn't dissing Jay-Z directly, to have someone like Jay-Z mentioning the Game on the radio, you know, just acknowledging him was huge. You know, it was creating a lot more buzz for the Game and for his debut album. So after the documentary, who could forget the infamous beef between the Game and 50 Cent? Now, it's hard to say who's at fault for actually starting the beef, but here's what happened. Essentially, the Game went on the radio and he was asked by someone, you know, if he had beef with Jadakiss and Fat Joe and Nas, because 50 Cent had beef with all of them at the time. And to which the Game replied, he said, "No, I don't have beef with him. Just because 50 Cent has beef with him, that doesn't mean that I have beef with him." He said that on the radio, and then once he said that on the radio, 50 Cent said, "Okay, you know, if you don't want to inherit the beef, then you're out of G-Unit." So 50 Cent went on the radio and said that Game's out of G-Unit.
I don't even know how this whole beef came about with me and him, because we're all under the same roof. But he started it, and you know, I was ready to finish it.
Have you two tried to sit down or talk about it? I haven't even had a conversation with him. But there's no need for communication after you've been that disrespectful. So this is unfixable. This is it.
Many industry figures felt the beef was nothing more than a way to promote record sales. However, on a cold day in March, those industry figures would be proven wrong.
Well, a member of 50 Cent's entourage is recovering today from a gunshot wound. The 24-year-old Los Angeles man was reportedly shot in the leg last night while in the lobby of a Manhattan radio station.
You know, there's tons of videos online if you really want to see the entire in-depth details of the beef. But essentially what happened is, you know, they made up for a bit and then the game just started going ham with diss records. He dropped like mixtape after mixtape after mixtape, just full of G-Unit disses. And, you know, to be honest, I think it made him a better MC. I think, you know, it made him really be in the studio like 24/7 because he was just going so hard, and it just made him a better rapper. In my personal opinion, I think he's lyrically better on The Doctor's Advocate than the documentary, but that's a discussion for another day. So regardless, he released numerous diss tracks, and in his defense, he didn't actually use the 50 Cent beef to really promote The Doctor's Advocate. I would say he did a good job of not mentioning 50 Cent on The Doctor's Advocate. However, he mentioned Dr. Dre a lot because the bad thing about the beef with 50 Cent is that he then had a fallout with Dr. Dre. And so he used The Doctor's Advocate as more of a platform to reach out to Dr. Dre and say, you know, I'm sorry for all this, like I still want to work with you, you know, what's a game project without a Dr. Dre beat. So, however, the lead single for The Doctor's Advocate was One Blood, and he had some interesting lines on that, and people aren't too sure who those lines were directed at, but it sure sounded like he was taking shots at someone. So one of the most prominent lines is, "You're 38 and you still rapping, And so a lot of people thought that that might be a diss towards Jay-Z, because, you know, Jay-Z, I believe, was around 38 at the time of the release of that track. And another controversial line he had on that song was, "Turn on the TV and all you see is the A, Atlanta. You better make up a dance and try to get radio play. Keep on snapping your fingers, I ain't going away." And so, you know, a lot of people at the time just thought this was a diss at Atlanta in general, and also kind of the snap music that was going on at the time. So there's a lot of rappers coming out with dances and stuff, and like Soulja Boy and, you know, other rappers like that, and so obviously Game thought that was corny. So I mean, I don't know if that was, again, directed at anyone specifically or more of just a general shot at the state of hip-hop at the time. Now, after The Doctor's Advocate, the Game kind of simmered down a bit, didn't really have too much beef. The beef with 50 Cent kind of died down a bit. He did get into a little bit of a beef with Vida Guerrera, of all people, something in terms of him saying that he hooked up with her, and she denied it, said that he was lying. So she released a diss track towards the Game, and the Game responded on a mixtape before the release of LAX.
Vida, the multi-million-dollar diva, the game's changed, the game's now caught that amnesia. How your fingers gonna get next to this? You damn near had carpal tunnel sending me all your text messages. Monday, you're blowing me up. Tuesday's the same. Wednesday's meal strip night, so I don't hear from Game. Yeah, I'll play around. I saved a couple of your messages. Don't know why you're texting me, because women ain't your preference. But anyway, at any rate, Vida's never on your team. You need to go back to Kanye and find another dream. Find another video hoe, another fiend, because the only way you find me is if you find a magazine.
Bitch, shut the fuck up! Get the fuck out of here!
DJ Ski.
What?
Click for death though, get pussy like a lesbo. Ben Frank the king, get green like the gecko. 4-finger ring, 87 gold chain, hard black Air Ones. Taper like Daddy Kane, smooth criminal. Bitches love the way I flow, the way I puff Cuban cigars and sip Don slow. VIP, lick it up, it's real, go get a cup. Champagne like cum in the mouth, the way she spit it up. The black you have, so crack, last a few texts. Fuck them all doggy style, now who's next? Rain Terror, pull a ponytail, fuck them in the mirror. Piss in they mouth like Vida Guerrera.
I don't think he was using that beef to promote his album, but it was just a funny beef that I thought I'd bring up between The Doctor's Advocate and LAX. That being said, before he dropped LAX, he released a song called Big Dreams, and he had a radio version and a street version. And on the street version, he actually did diss 50 Cent, and so he basically shouted out all of 50 Cent's nemesises, and he said that he was Curtis Jackson's kryptonite. So here are the lines.
Big dreams. Yo, Jay, what it do, nigga? I didn't rock enough fellas to be you, nigga. I got the 40-40, they my two jiggers. I make you holler, I ja rule niggas. The lions in the room. What up, Fat Joe? I'm Curtis Kryptonite. And the nigga Joey Crack, no. Whoever said the game over must have had a hangover. Get money, my driveway sponsored by Range Rover.
So up until LAX, I think the beefs that happened before his albums were kind of more organic. And then going towards the Red album, I think this is when the Game started, you know, kind of creating these beefs to draw kind of attention to the release of his new project. So his fourth studio album, the Red album, he released a diss track called Uncle Otis about a month before the release of the album. And, you know, this was completely unprovoked, out of nowhere, and he went at a number of rappers. He was dissing Jay-Z, he was dissing Big Sean, and he was dissing that white girl rapper, Krayshawn. She had like the Gucci Gucci, Louis Louis, Fendi Fendi Prada song back in the day. Not sure what happened to her. But anyways, he released this song and went at, you know, as I mentioned, a number of rappers. And so I don't think anyone took it seriously. I don't think it got a response from Jay-Z or Big Sean or this Krayshawn girl. I saw Big Sean even went on Tim Westwood, and when he was asked about it, he was just like the Game must have an album coming out or something.
Now, we are not dealing, we're not dealing with no form of beef, but the Game is talking crazy as usual.
He's talking crazy, right?
It's always talking
You know what that means, right?
He's crazy.
No, that means that he probably has trying to come out with the album or has an album coming out or something like that.
I think next week, actually.
Next week?
Yes, I think he's dropping Red. When's he dropping Red? Next Monday?
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Really?
Yeah, that's why he's on. He's dissing everybody. Got an album come out, let's diss everybody.
Yeah, he has like a diss list.
Oh, a diss list. And the diss list has even just got longer with the release of it. He's done something called 500 Bars now.
Who he dissing there?
Who isn't he? I think I'm the only person that he doesn't name.
Oh my God, did he diss me again?
No, I don't think he did.
Now, 1 month before the release of his fifth album, Jesus Piece, the Game decided to drop a freestyle video dissing rapper Shyne, who is locked up. And I guess Shyne said some things about Kendrick Lamar that the Game did not like, so he decided to take on the beef himself. So he dropped a freestyle video of him rapping in the snow, dissing Shyne, and then, of course, he wrote the release date of Jesus Piece in the snow to promote his album. And, you know, he did this about a month before the release of his album.
And now that I got everybody fucking attention, let's address this bitch ass nigga going at Kendrick. Say the album trash. Nigga, you full of gas, poke holes in you, let you fill up a New York cab. Nigga in Belize all into his feelings, cause he did 10 years for shooting at the ceiling. Cough up a lung, where I'm from, Compton, son, ain't nothing nice. Cough up a lung, where I'm from, Compton, son, ain't nothing nice. Cough up a lung, where I'm from, Compton, son, ain't nothing nice.
So before the release of the documentary 2, the Game calmed down. He wasn't really beefing with anyone. He did, however, take a subtle jab at rapper Stitches a couple weeks before the release of his album, while he was doing kind of like his, you know, album promo tour on the radio shows. So in a freestyle, he just dissed Stitches, but I think that was because Stitches actually dissed him first. And this was long before, you know, any of that that incident happened with the Game's manager where he knocked Stitches out. So Game calmed down for that project. But moving on to his next project, 1992, the Game decided to go very hard at rapper Meek Mill. And I think this was completely to promote his new album. You know, he released a song called 92 Bars, where he seemingly out of nowhere started dissing Meek Mill, calling him a rat, saying that he was a snitch, and, you know, got the police involved in some situation where he was at the club with Meek Mill and Sean Kingston got robbed, and Meek Mill told the police that the game was involved or something like that, or that's what the game said at least. But it just seemed like the game was just completely fabricating this beef. You know, at the time, Meek Mill was beefing with Drake, and I feel like the game just thought, you know, picking on Meek Mill was kind of like the cool thing to do at the time. And so the game, you know, released that track, and then Meek Mill responded quite promptly actually, and the game released another diss track at Meek Mill. So it was actually at least entertaining in that respect that they both released some good diss tracks towards each other. But I think that, you know, the game was simply just trying to promote his album 1992, and I believe Meek Mill said that actually on you know, interview with Taxstone.
So you think Game's strategy was just to put his album out?
It seemed kind of put together to me. What did it look like to you?
No, it definitely seemed orchestrated to me.
Because to me,
it was well orchestrated, by the way.
Yeah, like being a person in the situation, I know when it happened. And when it happened, I actually talked to Game the next day about it. And we was like, I can't tell that nigga keep my name out there Hollywood shit, man. I came to the club and I left. I ain't coming to the club with Game, Sean Kingston. I ain't talked to none of them before I got to the club. Yo, Penthouse popping. Went to Penthouse. I left Penthouse. Now my name in the middle of it.
So that leads us to the present day, where the game has seemed to have gone at Kanye West, and, well, I mean, Kanye West indirectly through Kim Kardashian, as well as Joe Budden and his fiancée Cyn Santana. And again, I think here he's just trying to promote his album and you know, fabricate some beef. It seems like he's going for the people that are the most easily provoked right now. You know, Kanye West, it seems like with all the Twitter rants he does and whatnot, I feel like the game is willing to just, you know, try and piss him off, because he's hoping that he'll get all pissed off and go on these like rants and talk a bunch of shit on Twitter. But so far, no one's taken the bait. Kanye hasn't responded. Kim Kardashian hasn't responded. Joe Budden, also an easily provocable person. You know, with all the beefs going on with Migos and all of the new generation rappers, it seems like Joe Budden is very easily pissed off. And so I feel like that's why the game went at Joe Budden as well as Kanye West. But again, Joe Budden didn't really respond to the game. He just said, you know, I think there was a snippet where the game mentioned something about fucking Cyn Santana, and Joe Budden responded just saying, you better keep my fiance's name out of your fucking mouth. And the game, you know, it seems like he's just trolling right now. He kept posting these stories on Instagram and, you know, talking about how he like fucked Cyn Santana first. And ever since then, Joe Budden's just kind of shut up. I feel like they're not taking the bait right now. I feel like they know that the game is just trolling, trying to get people riled up in order to create a buzz for his new album, Born to Rap. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you think the game intentionally disses people just to create buzz for the release of his albums? You know, as I mentioned earlier, I think at the beginning of his career, he did so more organically. I don't think he was intentionally doing it just to create buzz for his albums. But, you know, after LAX, it seems like he's kind of fabricating these beefs just to create, you know, some hype and get some attention for the release of his new projects. So let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thanks a lot for watching my video. I have a lot more videos on the way. They're all hip-hop related, so please make sure to subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching, guys.